welcome back to my YouTube. See, I've switched it up, Gemini rising. Hope you guys are doing really well. Thank you for coming back to my channel. This is some hot tea, okay? I'm about to serve the realest shit ever. We're talking about cheaters, liars, infidelity. We're doing it all in this video. In this video, we're talking about progressed charts, natal charts, transits, aspects, all in celebration for this brand new service that I've added to my website. The service is actually titled, Who Should I Be Dating? Who's Best to Date? So what I do is I selectively look at particular aspects in your chart. Moon, Venus, Moon's aspects, Venus's aspects, 12th house, 7th house, just to get more of a gist to see what type of relationships you would be best to be in. But not just that, it's also to see if there's any karmic debts or unfinished business that you have on your chart as well, because a lot of people that I do read are struggling with expressing themselves in their relationships. What is it? What's up? What are you doing in here? Babe, get out. I love you. Okay. Is that it? Yeah. Babe, man, what are you doing?
Alright, it'll get put back. Oh, look, see?
Was that it? Like, you just come in here and just try and kiss me and you think I wanted to kiss you. I didn't want to fucking kiss you. Okay? I don't want to fucking kiss you. Love you. Right, so the most important position on the natal chart to look at is always going to be the moon, because the moon is the emotional fulfillment, the emotional expression. So even when it comes to who you choose to date, you have to understand that your moon's going to be non-negotiable. You can't negotiate on your moon. I feel that you can negotiate more so on your Venus than you can on your moon, but your Venus is more so your values, whereas your moon is more so your fulfillment, okay? So, for example, I'm a Cap moon in the 8th house as well, which is the house of intensity, it's the house of transformation. My moon being in Capricorn, I'm gonna prefer someone older. Someone who is established, who makes a lot of money, who works really hard, who values security. But my moon being in the 8th house, which is the house of joint resources, joint finances, my moon's gonna feel security surrounding itself with someone who I can share with. In other words, joint savings, a financial agreement. 4th house moons, 4th house is the house of home, security, foundation. You guys are going to feel very comfortable surrounding yourself with somebody who's a good cook, who can turn a house into a home, who values family. 5th house moon, this is the original house of Leo. This is a beautiful house for the moon to be in my opinion, because you guys embody fun. Okay, and you love to be out here being romance, going out on dates, having fun with each other, experiencing new adventures together. Full house, and the moon seeks security and having fun with people. And before I even get into it, I know a lot of you people are going to say, well, I've got that aspect and I don't cheat. You're an individual. You may not cheat at the moment, but you may at some point. We don't know what happens. You've got no idea of the next 5-10 years. We don't know, okay? Because every single person has the ability to cheat and be unfaithful in their relationships. It just depends on where they're at in that particular space in their life, okay? The first position I want to talk about is Leo risings. The reason why I say Leo risings is because Aquarius is ruling that 7th house. Aquarius rules Uranus. It's expressed similarly when Uranus is positioned in that 7th house. The 7th house is the house of relationships, bonds, titles, marriages, partnerships, legal binding contracts, okay? So when I see Aquarius in that house, for example, we've got that Chris Brown. Chris Brown's a Taurus sun, Taurus moon, a Leo rising with Aquarius in his 7th house. Clearly, he'll probably be better off in a relationship where he gets a lot of space. Because Aquarius is all about maintaining its sense of individuality above and beyond everything. It's about rebelling. Whatever house Aquarius is ruling, It's rebelling the purpose of that house's expressions. So if this is the house of relationships, Aquarius in that house is like, well, nah, relationships, yeah, I can try, but you know, you're likely to, you may step out or you may attract people that may step out on you. But there's just a very unusual way of having your relationship. So you've got to determine, honestly, if you really listen to your inner voice, what type of relationship would best suit you. Because 7th house Aquarius people are not very good when it comes to being entirely faithful. Even when it comes to Aquarius moons, progress moons, you know, Uranus conjunct the moon. I've got a progress moon in Aquarius now. Uranus is also natally conjunct my Capricorn moon in the 8th house. So there's a lot to do with maintaining my sense of individuality. Even when it comes into relationships, a lot of me is like, well, actually, I want to do this for myself, me for me, you know? And we have to talk about Uranus transiting Venus. This is tea, okay? So look, Uranus transit Venus. Uranus, think of Uranus like this, it's rebelling. And Venus is our love, our commitment, our pleasures. So when Uranus is coming over to our Venus like this, suddenly your mindset changes on how you initially viewed relationships. Uranus is surprise, upheaval, unsettled, unexpected events, surprises, unorthodox. It's going to change how your Venus initially was. People who have their Venus in Taurus right now, you guys are likely to experience some type of infidelity in your relationship, whether it be you or your partner, okay? Because Uranus is currently transiting through Taurus. Venus in Aries, you guys would have been through that already. Uranus transit Venus, this is where people get sudden sex addictions, having lots of unsafe sex as well. Sleeping with multiple people can come through this position. Sometimes it can show getting married very quickly because again, it represents surprise, bitch surprise, and Venus is commitment. But there may be some type of infidelity in your relationship that you will have to deal with when you've got your Venus, having Venus in Taurus right now. When Uranus was transiting over my Venus, I was 17 and I went through a time of where I was just out here reckless. I cheated on every person that I was with, and every person, okay? And I remember I was dating a Leo at the time, and I knew he was cheating on me, but I wanted to get him back, so I just started cheating back. But it felt good to be wanted somewhere else, so I started cheating openly. I'd always be honest and tell these people that, look, I've got a boyfriend, but here we are. There's just a disregard to relationships when you've got Uranus transiting over your Venus. And it's hard because you don't really care about breaking hearts. You're not thinking, because again, Uranus is all about the individuality, and it's about yourself. And it's even when it comes to people who've got their Venus in Aquarius, okay, Venus transit is in Taurus right now, so that's going to be squaring Venus in Leo, you know, Venus in Scorpio. You're likely to experience some type of infidelity due to Uranus being an aspect to your natal Venus. I had a client just a couple weeks ago. She's already married, never cheated in her life, loves her husband, but she's found a connection with somebody online. And I said to her, don't do it, don't cheat. And I said this because Uranus is sudden. Uranus is home to the 11th house, which represents technology, online. Venus in the 11th house, lots of online dating, okay? So when she said to me that she met this guy, I said to her, this is just an online thing. You guys will probably get on and there's probably lots of sexual chemistry, but you married your husband for a reason. This is the man that you're with. You chose to be with him. Stick with this man. And that the guy that she was chatting to was probably just going to be a fling. Even when it comes to synastry, Uranus conjunct Venus, aspecting Venus, like there's usually a possibility that you guys had met having an affair with each other. Uranus and Aquarius are very serious energies when it comes to infidelity, because again, they represent rebelling. It's rebelling the purpose of that particular planet or that house's expressions. And it's crazy, even when Uranus is transiting through the 7th house, you're likely to get somebody who may experience attracting someone who's already in a relationship. And again, getting married very, very quickly, but there will be something very unconventional about your relationship. When Venus is an aspect to Uranus on someone's natal chart, and usually when it's a square, an opposition, even a conjunction, you're likely to experience someone whose views on relationships are going to be very, very different. So different, like, well, they might prefer dating multiple people. This is where you get the polygamous relationships that come in through here. But I know a guy that has the conjunction of Venus and Uranus, and he's got a girlfriend and a wife and everything, but he's been trying to fuck. He's just out here trying to just get it in with whoever and however. And it's crazy because he's also got Chiron in his 8th house, and Chiron in the 8th house for a lot of men have been having sex from a very early age, so they're just very sex driven. Mars aspecting Uranus, Mars in the 8th house as well. Now this is a really harsh one, especially on a man's chart. Mars is your motivation and it's your drive, and the 8th house is the house of sex and intimacy. And I've got an ex that has this exact position, and very, very sexually driven, everything surrounding sex. Now the one sign that everybody has an opinion on, Gemini. Everybody has something to say about Geminis, and it's funny because Gemini moon and Gemini sun get the most like hate, and I always say to you guys, I love Gemini energy, probably because I am a Gemini rising, but I love the energy heavy. So the reason why Gemini is going to be in this list is because Gemini represents variations. It's very curious energy, and it's willing to try anything once, okay? So when I see a Gemini moon person, moon is your emotions, and a Gemini moon is always going to show indecisiveness because Mercury is ruled by Gemini. So the emotions are like, oh, how should I feel? Should I go there? Should I contact my ex? Should I go back? Should I go, what should I do? There's lots of indecisiveness. Sag moon, my boyfriend's a Sag moon. So look, people, look. Sag moon is one of those moons that represent overindulgence, okay? I don't look at Sag moon as being the most deep moons. It's not deep like Scorpio. It's not a deep moon, and it's not deep because it rules Jupiter. Jupiter is a planet of expansion. It's your luck, it's your blessings, and it's knowledge. It's about reaching the point of your higher self. It doesn't always show me somebody who wants to feel deeply. And what I've noticed with Sag moons, you have to be somebody who is always on a high. You can't be pressing these people with, you treat me bad, you're this horrible type of person, and you're this, and now you can't stress a Sag. You just can't stress a Sag moon person. They don't want to be stressed in their, they don't want to feel that. They hate, it's not that they hate feeling, because Sag moon people feel, but there's an element of, I'm going to feel, but let me be optimistic about it. They don't want to get to that point. So, and also because Sag represents overindulgence, it can also show, again, diving into polygamous relationships, being with multiple people, because the moon's going to feel very comfortable having more, because the moon is your comforts. Even Jupiter aspecting the moon, it's going to show someone who wants to overindulge and have more and more and more. And that goes for heavy Sag energy, like heavy Sag energy. Venus and Gemini, oh my God, this is the one that gets it all the time. Listen, people, Venus and Gemini gets the most stick, I'm not gonna lie. With Venus, with it being your love and your romance, and Gemini being variations, it's not the most committed sign. But I always say it's about who can keep up with them, okay? Because with them, they need to date someone who has multiple interests and multiple things happening, popping off in their lives. They can't date someone doing the same mundane thing day in and day out. They're very curious, so they want to be, that's why a lot of Venus and Gemini people are gay or bisexual, because they try new things. They've got to date someone who they can learn from. So if you're not teaching them sexually in the bedroom, okay? Teaching them about different areas in life, they're likely to step out on you or just leave, okay? Scorpio moon, Scorpio Venus, this is a deep one. Like, this is deep. The Scorpio moon people that I know that have cheated, it's never just because, oh, I just want to cheat. It's never just because, oh, I'm just not really happy in my relationship. It's always, and I mean at least 99.9% of the time, you guys tend to cheat because you are being vengeful. Someone's hurt your feelings, or you feel someone's not treating you right, so you want to get them back. So cheating is something that you guys may do. Because a lot of people always confuse Scorpio for being one of the most faithful signs. Scorpio love intensely, it's emotional, it's deep, okay? And they love obsessing over people. They love obsessing over people, but they will cheat on you if it ever came down to it. And also look at how that person's Venus is positioned. When you've got Venus conjunct the moon, especially look at it like this, Venus conjunct the moon, a Scorpio moon, a Scorpio Venus, they will be in a relationship with you. They'll stay with you because the moon seeks security in Venus, i.e. relationships, okay? However, they will stay and complain, but they will still be out there cheating. And this is what you get a lot when Venus is an aspect to the moon and when you got a Scorpio moon. And they always step out with an ex, not always with a random person. It's always going to have to be an ex. Jupiter in the 5th house. The 5th house is the house of dating, romance, flings, casual sex, and Jupiter likes to overindulge here. So Jupiter is another aspect that doesn't always, and it depends on the sign that it's in, people, please bear that in mind. There's usually a sense of, I want to party, I want to turn up, I want to have fun, and if I meet someone, then that's even better, like that's a bonus. Again, overindulgence here in sex and dating. Now with the 7th house being your relationships and your bonds, marriages, etc., Saturn being positioned here, I've had the transit here as well, and there is a massive, again, disregard towards relationships. I don't like, when I had Saturn transiting through my 7th house, I weren't really that fussed about relationships the way that how I probably am now. But having it natally in your 7th house, we always say don't get married before you're 30. Don't do it. Saturn can definitely restrict relationships from coming your way when it's in the 7th house as well, because again, Saturn is restrictions, rules, regulations, responsibility. Saturn just wants you to learn more about yourself in relationships when it's positioned natally in your 7th house. Natally, even progressed as well. It's crazy because on my progress chart, I am currently a Cancer rising. I've got Capricorn ruling my 7th house. There's just a lot to learn about your relationships when Saturn is in the 7th house, transit wise, progressed wise. And sometimes it can show that you might again disregard relationships, or just disregard you and other people, or other people's feelings. The nodes, oh my god, the nodes are so important on someone's chart. So important. They're really important because the nodes will always show you your directions, you know, your karmic debts, where you're supposed to be headed towards, where you come from. So when I see Venus conjunct the node, I see somebody who's working towards a relationship, working towards them and other people. When North Node is also in Libra, okay? Chiron could also be in Libra. All of these represent you having to work towards building relationships, effective relationships. The same as North Node being in the 7th house as well. Another aspect that we need to look at is the Mercuries. Because when it comes to synastry, when I see synastry charts, right, I can see whether these people are actually together or they're not. And I'm not even joking, 9 times out of 10 I'm right. I am right. And I'm right because the charts are talking to me. If I see Neptune in aspect to someone's Mercury, Mercury being your planet of communication, processing information, and you can get the Neptune person being someone who may lie to the Mercury person. When I see natal Mercury in the 12th house, squaring Jupiter in the 3rd house, that person has some skills. Because 3rd house being the house of communication, processing information. And then I see someone who has the gift of the gab, okay? This is the house of the car dealership guy who, you know, who's able to sell cars to you. He's got his Jupiter there. He's got the gift of the gab, honey. And then Mercury being in the 12th house, this is the house of manipulation, hidden. And Mercury being your communication and processing information is your logic. So when they square, you see someone who's really good with their words, like fantastic with their words. Neptune in aspect to someone's Sun, someone's Venus, Mars, 7th house as well. You know, these always show me someone, these positions always show me someone who's likely to attract someone else who could be lying, okay, who could be likely to cheat and step out on their relationship. When you've got Neptune transiting the 7th house, you can meet people that are liars, that may sell you a dream, that may present themselves to you as being one thing but they're really something else. When you've got, even in synastry, and someone's Neptune and Uranus, okay, if you're part of that Capricorn generation, are positioned in your 7th house, again, that can show that they may view themselves very different to how you may view them. Your relationships are going to be different. Or let's say you might be with them, but they may not be with you. That might be your thought. Or there can be situationships. That's something I see all the time when I see this aspect. You guys are situationships. You guys are in a situation rather than actually being in a relationship together. When I see Neptune aspecting Mars or the Sun, I'm always seeing someone who may not be so consciously aware of what they're doing. Neptune is very nebulous energy. It's escapism. It's not a logical planet at all. So you're not always able to see consciously what you are doing. So sometimes it's like, well, yeah, you know, I might just go to my friend's house. You know, she's my friend. But really and truly, that person isn't your friend, but you can't consciously see that. Next thing you know, you guys are having sex because Neptune doesn't always see what's actually happening. There are so many different aspects, transits that you need to look out for, positions on your progress chart, on your natal chart. Look out for all of these things. But listen, when you guys are meeting people, make sure you check out those birth charts first, because those charts will always tell you what that person's intentions are in general, and then look at the synastry to see what their intentions are with you as an individual. So if you guys have any questions, you guys are welcome to hit up my website. I've got a question service on my website, and also just go ahead and book that Who Should I Be Dating brand new service, okay? So I'll see you guys next time, people. Take care.